I want to welcome everyone. Again, my name is Erica Clark, and I am the Assistant Director of Experiential Learning for the College of Business. And I am super excited that you all have joined us today for our very first session for Experiential Learning Week. Today, we're going to be focusing on our pillar of global and intercultural fluency. We have a dynamic speaker. Chris is the Vice President of Global and Tax Treasury at Rackspace Hosting. He has worked to launch operations in nearly a dozen new countries in the past 10 years.
So I'm going to try to point with the camera. See over here on the wall? Those are my diplomas from UTSA. I got my undergrad in accounting, and then I came back and I got an MBA in taxation. Erica gave me a pretty good intro there, but I wanted to give a little more context around my roles and how it fits into this concept of a global mindset. With iHeartRadio, I have that on here. It was called Clear Channel Communications, and I started there way back when. Done an internship in international tax. Now, I really wasn't that sure what international tax was. Within 2 years of being an intern, I was on my first trip overseas. So I was able to use that internship to go in, prove myself, work very hard with the leadership team that was there. The company made 2 acquisitions within the first 12 months that I was there, and it tripled in size. It was a kind of a unique experience that I got to be able to travel overseas at a young age. And one of the things I learned a lot about with international tax was that how the rules of the U.S. applied on a global level. So not only do you have to understand U.S. rules, but you have to understand the international rules as well to really put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And then I went to PwC, which is a really large accounting firm. I realized I had to make an investment in myself and be able to go and try new things. And so I moved out of San Antonio, where I was born and raised, and moved to Dallas. And I spent a little over 4 years working in the International Tax Services Group at PwC. First, I was working with a lot of different individuals that were around in a similar career trajectory I was. Got me to think a little bit different about how my career was progressing. But then I also was working across different industries. When I was at iHeart, I was working with the radio and outdoor advertising. PwC, I was working with companies that had operations in more countries than I ever saw at Clear Channel, in different industries that I never saw at Clear Channel. And I was also working with teams at PwC that were across the world. So if I had a client that called me up for Argentinian tax advice, I'd have to find who was the local Argentine tax expert. And the big firms are great because they do have certain local experts that are sitting in New York that work on what's called the desk, the foreign desk. And so you get to interact with them, and PwC would have national conferences every year for various of their employees. And so you get to go and actually meet them and interact with them and learn more about their backgrounds. Every job you have, you can learn something that you can take to your next job. When I look at resumes for people that I'm looking to hire, I always like to see that they've really been able to articulate the experience they got at each job. One thing that I learned, my dad made me take a sales course. And he said, "You're always selling." I was like, "Dad, I do international tax." He said, "You're always going to be selling. I don't care what you're doing. You're always selling something to somebody." And so the guy that taught the course said something that always stuck with me. This has probably been 20 years now. He said, "It's not who you know, it's who knows what you know." And so not only just meeting people in their network, but also having enough time with them where they understand the value you can bring to their organization, whatever it is.